Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have started the chapter The Living World. We have discussed that the living beings they show diverse types of characteristic features which are not shown by non-living beings. Today, we'll discuss one more unique feature which are shown by living forms is metabolism. So all living organisms are made up of chemicals. So all life forms, whether they are microscopic, macroscopic, multicellular or unicellular, they are made up of certain biomolecules. These biomolecules may be carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and some other categories, nucleic acids, etc. So these chemicals, small and big, belonging to various classes, sizes, and functions, etc., are constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules. In class 10, do we have discussed about the process of digestion within the human beings. There do we have discussed that whatever the different types of complex food materials do we consume, it is broken down in the presence of enzymes to convert them into simpler molecules, and those simpler molecules are again utilized for the synthesis or for the making up of certain other biomolecules. So these conversions are chemical reactions or metabolic reactions. There are thousands of metabolic reactions occurring simultaneously inside all living organisms. So within ourselves also, we may consider that at a certain time, thousands of different types of biochemical reactions are occurring throughout the day and night, be they unicellular or multicellular. All plants, animals, fungi, and microbes exhibit metabolism. So we can define the metabolism as the sum total of all the chemical reactions, or better, we may say here the sum total of all the biochemical reactions occurring in our body is called as metabolism. No non-living object exhibits metabolism. So we may consider so many non-living things, for example, a table, a pen, or may other so many different examples that doesn't shows such type of metabolic reactions occurring within it. So metabolic reactions can be demonstrated outside the body also in cell-free systems, and isolated metabolic reactions outside the body of an organism performed in a test tube is neither living nor non-living. So whenever we are performing such type of reactions outside the body, certain metabolic reactions outside the body, we can consider them neither living nor non-living. Hence, while metabolism is a defining feature of all living organisms without exception, isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not being things but purely living reactions. So, in vitro means the reaction is taking place in artificial medium. So, in vitro means the reactions are taking place in artificial medium, whereas in vivo means the biochemical reactions are occurring within the life forms or living medium. Hence, cellular organization of the body is the defining feature of life forms. So, we have discussed that cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all life forms. irrespective of their size, shape. So all life forms, they are made up of cells, and whatever the functions are being performed within any life form, cell is the unique structure to perform those functions. Perhaps the most obvious and technically complicated feature of all living organisms is the ability to sense their surroundings or environment and respond to these environment stimuli, which could be physical, chemical, or biological. So, we may define stimuli means any change in the environment, means any such type of change which is occurring within the environment, we call them as stimuli. May that if the temperature is changing, it would be a stimulus. May that if any of the chemical changes there, it would be a stimulus. If I touch any living being, that touch would be also stimulus. Light would be also stimulus. Just for example, we observe if we put small amount of salt in front of the snail, it retracts its body and reverts its direction. Just like do we observe might the case of sunflower that it always faces the direction of the sun. Just like in class 10 do we have discussed regarding the climbers, the tendrils, which when gets the support, it coils around the support. So how does it possible? The touch is the stimulus, and that touch, what it causes? It causes the diffusion of the hormone, that is a phytohormone auxin, to the opposite side of the touch. So there it causes rapid cell division, and due to rapid cell division, the length of that tendril enlarges to the opposite side of the touch. So due to that reason, it coils around the support. Just like one more example do we have discussed in class 10, whenever we have kept a potted plant in a dark room and let the sunlight to enter the room through one side of the room. So what we have observed that after certain days the shoot portion has tilted towards the direction of the part of the room through which the sunlight was able to enter. So, we sense our environment through our sense organs. Plants respond to external factors like light, water, temperature, other organisms, pollutants, etc. All organisms from the prokaryotes to the eukaryotes or the most complex eukaryotes can sense and respond to the environmental cues. So we know the meaning of prokaryotes. Pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus. So we have discussed the structure of a bacterial cell where we have seen the nucleic acid, which is the genetic material. It lies within the cytoplasm. There is no any such type of nucleus or the structure bonding these nucleic acids. So the nucleic acids lies dispersed within the cytoplasm directly within itself. So they are called as prokaryotes. Whereas on the other hand, eukaryotes, EU means true or well, and karyon means nucleus, means the cell which are having true nucleus, means the nucleic acids which are bounded within this nuclear membrane, they are having a true nucleus, and other membrane bound organelles do we know, so those are called as eukaryotes. Photoperiod affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, both plants and animals. So, what is photoperiod? Let us understand. So, photoperiod means duration of light which is available to the living being. For example, if we consider now these days the summer season, the sun rises at around about suppose 6 o'clock in the early morning and its sunsets takes place around 7 o'clock in the evening. So what is the duration of light that is available to life forms? That we can calculate, it may be around about 13 hours. Just like if we consider the winter season, the sunrise takes place around about suppose 7 o'clock in the morning and sun sets around about 5 o'clock in the evening. The duration of the sunlight, it would be around about 10 hours to the life forms. So, if we say that if we try to grow kharif crops in the season of Rabi, we would not be able to grow them. Why? Because the kharif crops they are grown in the months from June to October, whereas the Rabi crops they are grown in the months of November to April. So obviously the season of Rabi will have less photo periods. So obviously the crops which are grown in the Kharif season cannot be grown during the season of Rabi. So just like that photo periods, it affects reproduction in seasonal breeders in the case of plants as well as in the case of animals. All organisms handle chemicals entering their bodies. All organisms therefore are aware of their surroundings. Human being is the only organism who is aware of himself. That is, has self consciousness, and consciousness therefore becomes the defining property of living organisms. Till so far here, in the next class, we'll discuss about the next aspect of the living being. Thank you. Have a nice day.